Hey Dr. Sadeji, this is Brian from Leadhounds, and in this video I'm going to show you 3 things that you can start doing to bring in more patients through your website. So you might be asking yourself, why is this guy just sending me this stuff for free? Couldn't I just go do it myself and take advantage of the extra business? And the answer is yeah, you absolutely can do that. What I've often found is that most small business owners don't have the time to worry about perfecting their website or showing up on Google searches. So if you do have the time, that's great. I really encourage you to use what you learned in this video. But if you don't and you think you could use some help with this stuff, just give me a call or shoot me an email after you're done watching and we can talk about the next steps. All right, so I mentioned those 3 strategies, but before we get into that, I want to talk about the goal of those strategies, which is going to center around what's called buyer intent keywords. So that's going to be basically a word or a phrase that someone's going to search for when they want to pay for a service. So in the case of DefiAge Med Spa, that might be something like Botox Houston. I know you guys offer aesthetic services. We've been working a lot with medical spas lately, so I'll use Botox as an example, but you could really use this, you could run through this with any of the services you provide here. Okay, so let's take a look what we find when we search Botox Houston on Google. So up at the top, we have some paid advertisements. Those don't get a lot of clicks. But basically, yeah, you pay Google and get these spots. They get about 1% of the website clicks. Okay, so then we have this map section, which we'll come back to. And then finally, here we have what's called the organic listings. So these are the websites that show up without having to pay Google any money. So up at the top here, we see a couple of your competitors in the Houston area. Right, we have Artavi Med Spa, Houston Derm, right? And we can scroll down and see if we can find DefiAge Med Spa anywhere on here. So that's the end of the first page. We'll just look at one more page just to be sure. Okay, I don't see it there. One more, okay. So yeah, that's about 2 pages in, and we didn't see DefiAge Med Spa anywhere on here. So what that means is most of the website traffic, most of the clicks that come from this search Botox Houston are going to go to these top links right here, right? Because the vast majority of clicks go to these top organic listings, right? So then you might ask, well, do I even care about that? How many people are really searching Botox Houston? And we can actually answer that question using this tool called Ahrefs. And so right here we see that keyword Botox Houston, and we see that it gets 1,100 searches every single month, right? And that's just that one search. So then we can go down this list and there's more, right? There's Houston Botox, best Botox in Houston. Each of these has hundreds more searches every single month. So that means that somebody in your area is searching for a service you provide. And it's not just somebody, it's thousands of people. But if you're not showing up on those Google results, then none of those people are going to find your website. So let's see what keywords you do show up for. Okay, so I went ahead and searched DefiAge Med Spa on Ahrefs, and let's see what we find. Okay, so these are the keywords you show up for, right? And as you can see, none of them are any higher than, what is it, the 34th position on Google, right? So that means you're on like the 4th page, right? So that's, it's not going to get a lot of traffic, right? Nobody's scrolling to the 3rd or 4th page to find a business that they want to go to. So let's take a look at one of your competitors and see how they're doing. So this is Artavi Med Spa, right? We saw them showing up in I think the top spot for Botox Houston. We'll just look at their keywords. And right here, you can see that keyword, right? Botox Houston. And here it says it gets 1,400 searches every single month, and they're in the 3rd position. And let's see, we can look at that in a little more detail. And we see that they're actually the first position, right? Because you have the maps, you have like frequently asked questions, and then they're the first organic listing here, right? So that means they're going to be getting the vast majority of the clicks that come from this search. And look, they have some other ones too, right? Houston Botox, number 2. Um, let's see. I mean, Med Spa Houston, number 7. That's the first page. That's great. Lip filler Houston, 450 searches. I mean, look at that. And the 5th position. So they're going to be getting a lot of new patients because of these keywords and how high they show up on the Google results, right? So how can we compete with them on this? How can we get those top spots? Well, that comes back to those 3 strategies that I mentioned at the start of the video. And the first one is going to be the content on your website. Now, what do I mean by that? So what Google wants to see from its top businesses is about 1,500 to 2,000 words of content on the homepage that actually uses those keywords that we want to target, right? Like Botox Houston. So right here we see your website. It looks great. This is a beautiful website, very professional. But as we scroll down, we don't see too much content, right? I mean, you got to have some good blurbs here, but now we're at the bottom, right? And you probably only have about 400 words, I would say. So that's a great start, but not quite as much as Google wants to see. And real quick, just want to mention, I saw you're working with SalesMD. They built you a great website. But what I've seen in working with med spas is that, a lot of them hire these, healthcare specific companies to build their websites. They build you a nice website, but they don't know anything about SEO. They might say that they're doing SEO for you, but as you can see from what we looked at before, you're only showing up for a few keywords and not even in a high spot, right? You have 0 traffic coming to your website from Google searches. So I can tell you just from that, they're not really focused on SEO. They just build great websites. Okay, moving on. We talked about your content. Let's take a look at what your competitor's doing, right? So this is our Tavi Med Spa. Let's look at theirs. So you see they have, big blocks of content like this, right? Where they're describing their services using those keywords. And, we're already at the bottom though, and they probably only have like 600-700 words, right? A little bit more than you. So they don't have that much either, but that's a good thing. That means that all we have to do to start winning is add those 1,500 words of content, use those keywords in the right way, and we'll be beating them in the content department. Okay, so let's move on to the second strategy that I wanted to talk about, which is called backlinks. So a backlink is when another website posts a link that goes to your website. And what that does is it tells Google that you are a credible business, because when they see other websites linking to you, talking about your website, sending their own users to you through that link, that gives them more trust in your business. So we can see right here that you have 9 backlinks, right? We're talking about referring domains here. So that means 9 other websites link to you. They might have multiple going to your site from the same website. Okay, so that's a good start. But let's see what your competitor has. Back to our Tavi Med Spa. Okay, so they have 51 backlinks, right? So right there you can see one of the reasons that they're probably beating you out, because they have, 5 times as many backlinks, right? So what can we do about that? So we can go in here and we can go through each and every one of these backlinks and get you a link from each of these websites. And that way we're going to be matching the exact strategy that they're using to get in those top spots for all those keywords. But we don't want to stop there, right? Once we've done that, we want to just keep going and add 100, 200 more backlinks. So we're not just matching them, but we're blowing them out of the water. Okay, so that's backlinks. Let's talk about one more strategy, which is called the Google Map Pack. So I'm sure you've seen this section before, right? The Google Map Pack is this part of the results where you have this map and then 3 featured businesses. So these businesses are going to be really important because they actually get about 30% of the traffic from keywords like this. So how can you get in one of these top 3 spots? Well, one strategy we like to use is called citations. And a citation is kind of like a backlink, except instead of going to your website, it links to your Google Maps profile. So what we can do is something very similar to the backlinking strategy. We can see what the top business has, in this case Dermatouch RN, and we can copy their exact strategy, right? We can get a citation from all of their citations. And then, of course, we want to go above and beyond and add 100 more. Other than that, we can make sure we're filling out all of the different fields in your Google Maps profile. Make sure we're doing those in an optimal way that Google likes to see. We can geotag your images on your Google Maps so that they're pointing Google to the location that you want to send patients. And finally, we can help you respond to your reviews so that you're engaging with your patients. And all this stuff is stuff that Google likes to see and that they'll reward you for by moving you up in the map rankings. Okay, Dr. Sadeji, so those are the 3 things I wanted to talk about. Again, that's going to be the content on your website. We want to just add a little more so that you're at that 1,500 to 2,000 mark. Then it's backlinks, right? We want to take you from 9, which is a good start, to 150, so that you're just blowing your competition out of the water. And finally, we want to get you in those top 3 Google Map positions so you can get some extra traffic from that. All right, thanks so much for watching this video. I really hope it was valuable to you. If it was, then just give me a call or shoot me an email after you're done watching, and we can talk about next steps. All right, thanks.